everybody, I'm Richard Oldner. Welcome to the channel. Quick, let's jump in the Wayback Machine. Let's go all the way back to, say, 1965 when we had an L76, 365 horse, 327, you know, dunt-off cam, fuely heads, big Holly carburetor. How did that muscle car small block compare to something that we can just walk down to the wrecking yard and grab out of a truck? To illustrate how far we've come from the amazing muscle car era when we had cars like the 69 Camaro and LS6 Chevelle and split window Corvette and Hemis and all kinds of cool stuff, to illustrate how far we've come from that period of time when we basically the anything goes, like high compression, big camshafts, all that stuff, to our modern era where they might seem tamer, but they're actually making a lot more power. Let's take a look at two different versions that are very close to the same displacement. We have an L76, which is the amazing 365 horse 327 from back in the day. They also made a 375 horse version that had mechanical fuel injection, but we're looking at the carbureted version, and we're going to compare that to your run-of-the-mill Junkyard 5.3 liter that you might find in a truck. And that's how far we've come, the pinnacle of performance offered in a Corvette to something that you just go find in a wrecking yard that's offered in a truck. Were we to look at the LT version, the L83, we're looking at the LM7 5.3 liter, but were we to look at an L83, the latest version, the LT version, direct injection, really good cylinder heads, variable cam timing, it makes a lot more power than both of these and probably better fuel mileage and everything. But let's look at the step in between that first, and we're going to compare a 327, a 365 horse 327 to your run-of-the-mill 285 to 300 horsepower rated 5.3 liter. So taking a look at our 327, we see that it was equipped with 11-to-1 compression at a 4-inch bore and a 3.25 stroke, 11-to-1 dome pistons. It had fuely heads, which were the best heads available at the time. It had the famous dunt-off camshaft with 250 plus degrees of intake durations. It was a big camshaft, solid lifter. We had the Winters Foundry Snowflake dual plane high-rise intake, and it would have come with a 780 Holly. We ran a modern 750 on it because the 780 version wasn't available. We also ran an 850 on this, and it showed really no power gain, so this wasn't limited in carburetor flow. We did run with 1 3/4 long tube headers, which would have been common back in the day, and we showed the power output. And if you look at the power ratings back in the day of these motors, they varied all over the board. First, we had the gross rating versus the net rating. So the gross rating was a run on the engine dyno in kind of optimized condition. The net rating was really what the thing was run with and the way that it was run, the way that it ran in the car. It wasn't measured at the wheels. It was still measured at the flywheel, but with stock exhaust manifolds and all of that stuff. So the ratings, and also the thing that happened way back in the day, is that the ratings were a lot of times not accurate. They were based more on marketing or positioning, and by positioning I mean that if GM wanted a car to do well in a form of racing, they might have underrated it. If they wanted it to do really well in sales, they might have overrated it. So all of that since has changed, and now the ratings are much more accurate. But here's what our 365 horse 327 actually made when we ran it on the dyno. I made a reproduction of the L76. It produced 353 horsepower, so shy of its actual rating. Good on the torque. You can see 368 foot-pounds, and it revved all the way out fairly cleanly to 7,000 RPM, even though it made peak power at just 6,300. And here's how it compares to your run-of-the-mill Junkyard 5.3 liter, also run with headers, with an optimized tune, with an electric water pump, the same way that we ran the 327. That's not it. That's our modified version. We're going to take a look at that next. So this is our 5.3 liter. You can see that a 5.3 liter actually made, and I'll go ahead and mark these so you can see which one is which. One of them is horsepower, one of them is torque. But both of the blue lines, this is our 5.3 liter. It made 354.5, so really the same kind of peak power. As you can see, it just made it a lot earlier. It made peak power at 5,300 instead of 6,300, and the result of that is that it basically made a lot more torque. So the peak torque for the 5.3 liter checked in at 381 foot-pounds. But the interesting thing, although it made a lot more power, average power production in the range where you're most likely to use it, especially for a truck, because we're only making peak power at 5,300 RPM, a lot of guys would still pick the 327 because it likes to rev. It's got a big camshaft. It doesn't have nearly as much head flow as the truck does and doesn't really have nearly as good of an intake manifold in the long runner truck manifold. But if you want to rev the thing out to 7,000, even though you might get a truck motor, a stock truck motor to rev out to 7,000, it's just not going to be making any power out there. So of the two of these, one of these, the 327, would be a lot more fun, but the 5.3 liter truck motor makes as much power and a lot more torque. But let's find out what happens when we modify it. Now that we've taken a look at a comparison between the original 365 horse 327 and your typical 5.3 from the junkyard, let's see what happens when we modify both of them to see if they both still like. We know that the original small block Chevy obviously responded very well to performance modifications. Let's see how they both do. This was our stock 365 horse 327, made 353 and 368 foot-pounds. And let's take a look and see what happens when we modify it. So the fact that it made more torque than a horsepower, despite the fact that it had a pretty big camshaft in it, was still kind of limited by cylinder head. So the fact that it made more torque than a horsepower tells you it's still, you know, fairly mild. And if we start making more horsepower than torque, then we know that we're really onto something, and it's much more of a performance-oriented deal. But here's what happens when we modified it. We picked power up to 462 horsepower. Peak torque was up to 412 foot-pounds of torque. And here is what we did to improve the power output. Basically improve the power output everywhere, from 3,000 all the way out to 7,000. And now we were making peak power out at 6,800. But let's take a look and see what we did. The first thing that we did was replace, and this was the most restrictive thing, is we replaced the factory fuelie heads on it, which in the day were pretty good, but let's face it, they're still just small block Chevy heads. We replaced them with a good set of heads. In this case, we used Airflow Research. They call them L98 heads. They're basically 195cc heads. They were CNC ported. They're a huge step up in flow from probably 50, 60, 70 CFM better than a typical fuelie head. And we also replaced this thing with a much better camshaft, because the Duntov cam, even though it had a lot of duration, it just wasn't really powerful compared to any sort of modern version. And quite honestly, we could have picked an even better camshaft, because we stayed with a solid flat tappet camshaft because we wanted to continue, you know, with the essence of the original 327. So we picked a comp solid flat tappet camshaft, and I'll go ahead and put the cam number up here from comp, and then we'll go ahead and put the specs up here so you guys can see what the specs are on the camshaft. But we could have picked a hydraulic roller upgrade. We could have done a lot of things to this, but we wanted to stay true to the L76 and use a solid flat tappet camshaft. We ran the same headers on it. We ran the same 750 carburetor. We did put a single plane high-rise intake manifold on it, and we also ran this thing with a dual plane and RPM air gap, but it made less power from about 5,000 on up. So we picked the single plane for this because it made the most peak power. So with this combination and basically the stock short block, it was, let's face it, it was already an 11-to-1 stock bottom end, so it did fairly well. We were making peak power all the way out at 6,800 RPM, and we picked up quite a bit of power. So we went from 353 to 362, so we picked up 110 horsepower from our modifications, and it did very well. But now let's take a look and see what happened when we did those similar kinds of modifications, heads, cam, and intake on a 5.3. Now that we've taken a look at how the 327 original small block responded to modifications, let's take a look and see how the 5.3 liter, because it kind of continues that tradition. So on our 5.3 liter, it produced 354.5 horsepower and 381 foot-pounds of torque. Here's what happened after we performed modifications, heads, cam, and intake manifold. You can see our peak power jumped up quite a bit. We are making 484 horsepower, while peak torque jumped up to 424 foot-pounds of torque. And here's a list of the modifications that we made. On our modified version, we replaced the factory 706 heads with CNC ported versions of those 706 heads. There's other good heads that we could use, but basically doing a really good job on porting these. And this is back when Brian Tooley owned Total Engine Airflow, and they did a stage 2 version of their 706 heads with bigger valves, chamber work, porting, and they flowed quite a bit. They flowed quite a bit more than the equivalent Airflow Research heads did for the small block. But in either case, the head flow was way more than enough to support the power level that we were running. So we ran a fast LSX-RT intake manifold and 102 millimeter throttle body, and I think a lot of the gains that we're getting on this are from that intake manifold as well. That's a very good intake manifold, relatively speaking. Probably one of the best ones for this kind of RPM range on this displacement. We ran a crane camshaft. It was a 224, 232 at 50. 590 lift, 114 degree LSA. Because the 5.3 already had a hydraulic roller, we just replaced it with a hydraulic roller. And it's not a direct comparison between the others. I just want to show you guys what the two did in modified form. So you might be asking yourself, well, how do they compare in modified form? Well, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we will get rid of our stock versions. And this is the modified version of the 5.3 liter. And this is the modified version of the 327. The modified version of the 327 actually did better down low. It did better from about 4,300 and below down in this area, you can see. And then, it didn't make quite as much power as the modified 5.3 liter. Again, you know, it is a little bit of an apples and oranges thing. We put more cylinder head on the 5.3, and in my opinion, the fast LSX-RT intake manifold is probably much better in this RPM range than that single plane was on the 327. But both of them responded very well to being modified. Obviously, there's lots of power. We could make even more power with either one of these with even further modifications. But the cool thing is we've come a long way. The LS obviously makes a lot of power, but both of them you can make a lot of power with. Let's get to our conclusion. Okay guys, what's the takeaway in this comparison from our original muscle car motor, the L76, 365 horse, 327, and any old truck motor that we go get from the wrecking yard? Is it even a fair comparison? Actually, yes and no. I mean, I don't think anybody that wants a 327, particularly an original numbers matching L76 365 horse 327, is even going to consider replacing that with a 5.3 truck motor, but it does illustrate how far technology has come. I mean, that was the pinnacle, one of the pinnacles of small block performance from back in the day, and now, thanks to technology, modern fuel injection, intake design, certainly cylinder head flow, and even things like windage trays that help make a run-of-the-mill kind of truck motor make the kind of power that one of these original muscle car small blocks actually made from back in the day. But as we showed, both of them still respond very well to performance modifications, so anything goes when you put cylinder heads and camshaft and intake manifold on either one of these. You can still make a lot of power. I'm Richard Holder. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff. I'll keep testing.